Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to Sisters Season 6, Episode 1, entitled Straight No Chaser. This is your girl, Allie Nick, previously known as Hustle Queen Lee. I had to retire that name, y'all. Had to retire it. It was good when I started, but I am evolving, moving on to bigger and better things, and that's what we going to do. Now, as I'm talking about bigger and better things, I'm sorry if y'all can hear this ice cream truck music. Behind me, it's the summertime. The kids want ice cream. It is what it is. But we back again giving you some reviews. And like I said, this is season 6, episode 1, entitled Straight No Chaser. I know it's been a minute since I released a video. I had to take a much needed sabbatical from YouTube, but we're back. We are back live and in effect. And I'm going to give it to you real rap raw, in the words of Kevin Hart. But I missed y'all. I miss engaging with everybody and all of that good stuff. But we are back on the scene with Sister Season 6 season premiere. If this is your first time coming to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning family member, you already know what it is and what it always will be. And you know how we do. We're going to get right into this thing. So we find out who got popped. It was Q. And I was like, you know what? Is it wrong that I don't feel bad that he got shot? I think the hell not. I had no emotions other than, well, that's what you get. That's what you get. I didn't feel bad. I didn't have a little sympathization for him, in the words of Medea. No sympathy, no compassion, no nothing. Because in my mind, Q is truly irrelevant. And I like the actor, but the character, he could be dismissed. So we see that Calvin followed Maurice to the airport, which I guess in the big scheme of things, you know what I'm saying, it was a great idea. Because he ended up calling the ambulance because of, Q did need, medical attention. And I said, leave it to Calvin to be a good Samaritan. And so Maurice couldn't care if Q died right there. And I understood. Even though I don't wish death on anyone, I understood Maurice's perspective, because since the moment he's met Q, it's brought nothing but complete anguish and chaos to his life and those around him. Yet and still, Maurice still has to take accountability and responsibility for allowing this man to enter in and to be able to do the things that he did. So switching up, we're introduced to this bar that the girls visit or whatever. So we see that Danny is sloshed. Okay, Danny is drunk in delusion. Sis is gone. And we were introduced to Tina, who was the bartender that was serving drinks to Danny. And so she ended up taking Danny's keys because Danny has had too much to drink. And she, and she calls Andy to inform her that Danny is intoxicated. And so Andy asks Tina to take Danny's keys, and she lets her know that she's already done that. Andy in return calls Sabrina and informs her that Danny is drunk. And Sabrina says, again, which let me know that this has happened before. And it made me wonder, how many times has this happened? How many times have they been called to come and get Danny from this bar? Which further alludes to the fact that Danny does indeed have a drinking problem. She drinks in excess. And we're starting to see that more and more as, we get into this new season. And so after Andy calls Sabrina, she ends up calling Karen. And Karen tells her that she was going to go to the salon. However, she will stop at the bar first. And so we get this scene with Zach and Fatima, and it's the only time that we see them in episode 1 of season 6. And Zach asks Fatima, how is she so cool? Which is a question that he's asked her before. And I don't know if I would label Fatima as cool. Basically, he was asking her, how is she cool with the baby mama drama? How is she cool with these women and these kids? And I was like, well, I wouldn't necessarily label Fatima as cool with everything. So when Fatima addressed the fact that she is not cool with it, I said, well, what are you then? And so it makes me think that, is Fatima just being tolerable of Zach's drama? And I know that good sex can skew your perception. And having a falsehood of love can cause one to be patient when they should be operating with a sense of urgency. And that's how I view Fatima. The things that have been going on in her short-lived relationship with Zach, it makes me wonder, like, to me, ain't that much love in the world to have known somebody less than 12 weeks and you have already been like transported into all of his drama. It just doesn't make sense to me. That's just me though. And so Zach continues, in my personal opinion, to demonstrate his immaturity by asking Fatima the number of her sexual partners. And I'm thinking, sir, why is this a question that you're posing to your fiance? Why does that even matter? Like, and I'm one of those people where it's like, well, before I get to that, the kicker of it all is that Fatima actually answered him. She actually gave him an answer, and she said she's had 7 partners. Now, I don't know if I believe him. I'm just going to be straight honest. Now, she did say 3 were randoms, but the other 4 are men that she was in like elongated relationships with. I don't know if I believe Fatima simply from the fact that she had sex with Zach less than 48 hours that she knew him. And he presented nothing that would make him to be of that tier of a man that you would give it up to him that soon. I'm sorry. 7 is questionable, Fatima, but we gonna let you have that, sis. And so the thing about it was, Zach did not give her an answer. She asked him. He didn't respond. And the truth of the matter is, I don't think that Zach knows. I don't think Zach knows how many women he's been with. And I stand on that. I don't believe that he knows. And we also find out that, a lot of people love to ride these women about them being like sexually free or whatever the case may be. But Zach, we find out Zach don't use condoms. Zach believes that his pull-out game is strong. And the lie detector has determined that that is a lie. Also, how the lie detector has determined it's a lie, that Fatima continues to state that she doesn't care or she's not concerned about the women that Zach has been with prior to her. However, that's not true. She still responds erratically at times, but then I also understand who she's with, but at the same time, sis, that's who you're choosing to be with. Now, another thing that I found interesting, and I know that it was a build-up to where this season is going with Zach's storyline, we have never seen Zach be so concerned about his son. Now all of a sudden, my son. What if she not treating my son right? What if he growing up in the bed? I said, well, wait. It was overkill. And it was teamed too much too soon. Like, I do understand, like, this storyline of Zach attempting to get custody of Michael. But it's like, you've never even mentioned your son's name up until now. And I'm like, I understood where Tyler Perry was going with this whole thing, but it was just a little too much for me. And also when he brought up the fact that you saw how Heather like switched the moment I brought up the money. And I'm like, but you always been about the money. You never asked about visitations or custody when you went to the lawyer. You just didn't want these women to come after your money. So you can miss me with that double standard of how Heather act. I mean, anyway. Now here's the kicker of it all to me. Now, do I believe Fatima was wrong as hell for having that man come up and pretend to be her baby daddy? Absolutely. When Zach told her, like, don't be having no other men coming up here pretending to be your baby daddy because I don't know how much grace, like, I can extend to you in that. I said, baby, you are the last person on this damn show that should be concerned about how much grace is extended. As to how much grace has been extended to you, how you did something illegal and your ass is not in prison, how you have impregnated these women, and it may be more that we don't know about, but I'm going to give you these little 1.5 till we find out the truth about Karen. But until the test come out otherwise, I'm going to say you the daddy for that too. But I'm just like, babe, if I was Fatima, oh Lord. But anyway, that's enough about them. So then we get back to Danny at this bar. Let me tell y'all something. I was not here for the high and mighty attitude of Danny. The sisters let her know that she was right in their assessments of them. And she was still out of pocket, in my opinion. I don't feel that anyone was condemning her. I don't believe that anyone was judging her, but I believe that Danny feels safe with using those words to justify her own insecurities, and then having the ability and the desire to sit in that and feel okay with that. Because Danny is one of those people, and like if y'all caught the live with me and Erica Vane last night, I was talking about I really watched Danny, and I'm like, could I be friends with her? Like, Danny is not somebody I could be friends with, because I cannot stand someone who can call out someone else's shortcomings and their faults, yet when it's put back on you, the only way you know how to deal with it is to give that person pushback and attitude and hit below the belt. And people like that are individuals that I do not allow in my personal space if I can help it. You don't choose family, but you could definitely choose your friends. And I'm like, I just do not welcome that into my space. I don't like that type of energy. Excuse me. So I wasn't too fond that the sisters had to lay their burdens down in order to make Danny feel good in her drunken state. Now, we didn't get much of Sabrina and Andy this episode, but Andy does tell Danny that she's not strong as her in regards to Gary. And this is something that Andy has also stated to Karen, that she's not as strong as her when it comes to relationships, and making all of these excuses that really don't amount to anything about why she's still with Gary. She says that Gary makes her feel happy. He makes her feel good. No other man makes her feel that way. And I'm like, sis, when the last time you really smiled genuinely when it comes to Gary? When has he actually made you feel good about yourself? We have seen nothing more since season 1. This man caused so much chaos. You've allowed him to. So much chaos in your life, and you're choosing to stay. And the only thing that she can round it up to is to say that the sex is good. And I'm like, I don't want nothing that powerful. I don't want nothing that potent. I don't want sex that top tier that it makes me be comfortable in toxicity. Now, maybe that mess would have applied when I was 20 or 21, while I'm young and I'm doing all this crazy stuff. But at the same time, being a seasoned woman, and these women are like in their late 30s, that's just not a justifiable reason to stay in something so incredibly toxic. It's just not. So then we get to Sabrina, and Sabrina thanks Danny for being patient with her as it pertains to Calvin. And I said, when Sabrina said that, I said, are we living in the Twilight Zone? Like, this has to be the Twilight Zone, because Danny has disrespected Calvin several times and has also dismissed Sabrina's feelings after Sabrina has confided in her about how Danny's words affect her. And Danny continues to do it. So I'm like, what are you apologizing? The fact that they apologize, what are y'all apologizing for? Why are you thanking Danny? I'm like, Danny can kiss my ass. Danny ain't that great of a friend. I'm sorry. And I know there are a lot of people who definitely were in agreement with the things and the way that Danny said what she said to the women on the season finale of season 5. I wasn't a fan, and I did not like it, because I'm like, these are your friends, and they're not coming at you from a vile place. They're coming at you from a place of compassion and caring about you, that we do not want to see anything happen to you. And I just feel like Danny has always been kind of justified with her nasty ass attitude, because she's like the comedic relief. So off the girls, excuse me, Danny trollops her little behind over there to Preston. I ain't gonna laugh. I ain't gonna lie. It was hilarious the way that Danny was walking over to them. I said, Manon is a plum fool. She is a plum fool. Now, I was not a fan of Danny in this moment. I wasn't a fan of how she talked to Preston. I wasn't a fan of how she did Mindy. But I was like, Mindy, I was rooting for you. I had high hopes for you. And the moment that Mindy opened up her mouth, I said, Lord, what is this? Return to sender. Send her back. What is this? Mindy acts like that elevator don't go all the way up. It don't go all the way up. And I said, Mindy, what? The fact that Danny sat there and told this woman that the ring that you have on your finger is the ring that he proposed to me, in which I rejected, and now it's on your finger. I just want him to be sure. I said, Mindy, where you come from? Are there a lack of men where you are? Because I'm sorry, Preston is not a prize either. So what is the deal? I really want to know what the deal is. I'm not understanding. I'm just not. And Mindy was also too calm and collected for me to be sitting across from me at this table telling me about my fiance. And one of the things I also didn't understand is that Preston kept telling Danny, it's not what you think. It's not what you think. And I said, well, what is it? Mindy has on an engagement ring. You're engaged to this woman. What are you talking about? And then when he told Danny, well, I'm going to drop her off at the hotel and then I'm going to come and talk to you. Talk to her for what? I said, I can't take this. Danny and Preston, y'all not finna work my nerves in season 6. I already got to deal with merry-go-round Andy. I'm not finna deal with y'all. But it was just crazy. You know, Danny was telling Mindy that she deserves better and that she deserves better than Preston. And I said, you know what? I can't deny that. I think that Danny deserves better than Preston in the same space. I believe that Preston deserves better than Danny. I do not want them together. They do not make a good couple. No, I'm not rooting for them. So before the questions even come, no. I want them to close and lock the chapter on their book. They do not. Preston, I don't care how Tyler writes him. In my book, he is not redeemable after he gave Sis that gave her that ultimatum. But if you don't date me, if you don't, I'm gonna go marry her. Oh, okay, then you do that. I deal with my hurt feelings, whatever the case may be, but you go do that. And I ain't looked at Preston the same since after that situation. I just haven't. Now, let's move on to Karen. So Karen is on her way to the salon when Aaron calls her and lets her know that he's at her house and that he wanted to talk. So Karen gets there and they talk outside about, I can't remember her name. I think her name is Jennifer. I could be wrong, so I'm just call her Curly Sue. And one thing I did like about this scene is actually was my favorite scene of the episode, and I enjoyed it because we actually saw Karen stand firm. Normally what we've seen is Karen may stand firm with Aaron, but he'll say something like, come on, let me get you some ice cream. Come on, let's go inside and talk. Come on, let me take you out to dinner. Come on, let's do this. And she tends to normally fold when he does that. But in this moment, she didn't do that. She stood firm on her beliefs. No, I don't want to talk to you. No, you're not going to stress me out. So we do find out that Aaron indeed was seeing Curly Sue. And I'm like, when did you have the time to do that? When was you seeing this woman? He said it wasn't serious, which I do believe him, but he was like, this woman ended up falling in love with him and that she's crazy. And I'm like, okay, so how long has this been going on? And I want to know, why did this woman call you John? Like, what really is the deal with this? And Karen began to tell him that, it's something off with you. She said, there's something wrong with you, bro. I'm sorry. Like, do you make women think that you're this perfect guy? And I said, well, Karen, I'm going to stop you right there. Nothing about Aaron is perfect. And I think that he has demonstrated that in more than one way. He has shown that he is not perfect. He may be different from your normal experiences with men, but he has not shown himself to be perfect in any way. I don't believe that. Now, I think Karen's feelings was hurt, finding out that he was, entertaining someone else, basically because she has been honest with him. I will give her that. Aaron knew about Zach. He knew about how Karen felt about Zach. That was never hidden. But the fact that now Karen is finding out about this woman that she never knew about, and she asked him, like, you didn't think to tell me that you were seeing someone and she doesn't know about me? And he was like, well, I was going to tell her when you made up your mind because you didn't know if you wanted to be with me. You were going back and forth. Now, let me just be clear. I am not upset that Aaron was seeing somebody else because Karen wasn't committing to him. Karen kind of like had him on a short leash, like, we gonna play this by my rules. So no, I'm not upset that he was seeing somebody else. However, I do believe that he should have told her, like, look, until we find out what's really going on with us, there is someone else that, I'm seeing. It's nothing serious. We go out to eat from time to time, and that's just what it is. Because it really made me think the first time that Aaron and Karen had sex, when he got up, where did he go? He said he had to go and clear his mind, but nah, bro, I ain't buying that. Where the hell you went, Aaron John? That's what I'm gonna call him till we find out what the hell his real name is. He gonna be Aaron John. So basically, Karen went inside. We'll talk about it when I'm ready to talk about it. Like, I'm not allowing you to push me to do something that I'm not yet ready to do. Love that scene. Absolutely loved it. So Karen gets in the car and she calls Pam about the salon. Did she lock up everything, turn everything off? From the moment Pam picked up that phone, I said, this chick is having sex. Homegirl is getting it in. And I understood because I've been there. I've been there before where, you having a special moment with your man and then someone important call you and you need to pick up that call. It would behoove you to pick up that phone call. And I done been there and you got to pick up that phone call and you got to act like, now Pam wasn't trying to be oblivious at all. I knew what the hell she was doing. The other person on the other end, I'm going to say they ain't know what I was doing because I tried my best. I hope I passed because they never said nothing. But but it just happens. And then we find out that Pam left, I believe, the curling iron on. She said she thought it meant it was cooling down, but the light was still on. I'm like, you didn't unplug it? Like, what are you talking about? Anyway, so we get to the point where Karen goes to the salon. The salon is on fire. She goes in. She's screaming at Pam. The fire extinguisher is not working. She's coughing, and she ends up passing out. I thought Ebony Obsidian did a great job when it came to that. Like, she played that so well. And I was like, oh, man. And, I was saying in the live last night, it's on Erica Vane's page. I'm going to put the link. I'm going to pin the link. But I was saying that, when I was a kid, my house burned down, and thankfully we were in school, but my mom was home, but she got out unscathed, thankfully. And but we lost everything. And anytime you experience a fire, it destroys everything. But the beautiful thing is, everything that you get after that is a new. It's a new thing. It's a new birth. And so that's what I'm kind of expecting with Karen in season 6 and her journey in season 6. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. And that's how the episode went off. I forgot to mention that Gary called Andy and basically telling her when she coming home. And when the camera went to Gary, I said, first of all, why does Gary look like his ass was plucked from a field in the Netherlands? Why you got all these flowers in my bed? Why? I said, Father, I can't take. Andy and Gary, they will not do this to me season 6. I will be laughing at them because I can't deal with it. I can't deal with them. One of the things I forgot that Q robbed Maurice in Calvin's place. I completely forgot about it. So when they got back home and Maurice was saying that he wanted to go to bed, and then he remembered he ain't got no bed because Q took it. I laughed. He was like, I had a pillow top. If y'all don't know nothing about them pillow top mattresses, I love them. I said, dang, Maurice, he got you good, buddy. But Maurice, and I'm going to close it with him. Maurice's interaction with this cop, I said, in what world? In what world are you going to talk to a police officer like that, not be handcuffed? And this is one of the reasons why Maurice is one of my least favorite characters. He's funny in small doses, but when you have to really, he does too much. And to me, it becomes a turnoff. Just for me personally, it becomes a turnoff watching him because it's like he just does too damn much. Like, he does too damn much. But we are in season 6, people. We already know that there will be a season 7 of Sisters. And I just want to thank you guys for bearing with me while I took a much needed break. I do greatly appreciate it. I will be back later with the end credit trailer, and then I'm going to do the extended trailer breakdown. And then also, I'm going to be doing videos based on either some of your comments or videos or ideas or questions that you send to me directly. Again, I want to thank you guys for listening. I know it's the summer. Enjoy yourself. Be safe, especially if you got kids, swimming pools. Please be safe. Please watch your children, because this is a time where a lot of kids, we've already experienced a lot of drownings in Florida with minors, with small children. So please just be sure that you got a lock on your pool, lock on your door. Just be safe out there. Until next time, I will holler at y'all later. One.